Hey everybody, welcome to Fragrance Explorer. My name's Robert and today we're taking a look at Salvatore Ferragamo's Acqua Essenziale Blu. So let's get started. Acqua Essenziale Blu is a masculine oriental fougere that was introduced in 2014 from perfumer Alberto Morillas. Let's take a look at the note breakdown. In the top we have cardamom, bergamot, and lemon. In the mid we have cedar, lavender, and cypriol oil. And in the base, we have benzoin, tonka bean, ambroxan, and patchouli. So this fragrance was recommended to me by one of our viewers, and I really do appreciate you guys commenting on things that you'd like to see reviewed because this was not on my radar for something that I was going to purchase at all. And I'm really glad that you recommended it, and I'm really glad that I did make the purchase because it is a hidden gem of a fragrance. I think it's been flying under the radar for some time, and the nose behind this perfume is master perfumer Alberto Morillas, and he has made some fantastic fragrances through his career. He's got over 377 fragrances that he has kind of been the nose behind, and some of those that you might be familiar with are kind of Hall of Famers like Acqua di Gio, Bulgari Man in Black, CK1. Those are just a few, but he's really put out a lot of fantastic fragrances through the years. So let's take a look at the notes and my impressions of the notes and how the dry down occurs. Acqua Essenziale opens with some spicy, sweet citrus accords, and the opening is really bright and refreshing. It's similar in tone to what you get with Bleu de Chanel, but Bleu de Chanel is not quite as sweet as the opening of this fragrance, and I think that that's because of the cardamom adds some sweetness, whereas the opening of Bleu de Chanel has pink pepper in the opening, and so they both have a little bit of spice, but I think that Acqua Essenziale Blu is just slightly sweeter. So as the dry down occurs and starts to take us into the heart notes, we get the lavender really coming into play, and it's got kind of a medicinal, soapy feel to it. It's got a real clean feel to it that's a bit like Yardley's English Lavender Hand Soap, if you've ever smelled that before. So it's got that soapy cleanness to it, but there's also just a little bit of sweetness with the lavender that kind of reminds you of black licorice. And so you kind of get a soapy, licoricey feel in the middle. And then there's a note here in the mid that I don't have in, this is the only fragrance that I have that has this note in it, and it's the Cypriol oil. And I wasn't familiar with Cypriol oil, and if you're not familiar with it, I don't feel bad, I wasn't either. But Cypriol oil, it's described as having a woody, earthy tone that also has overtones of smokiness and leather. And so I really do get that. As I start to smell this fragrance, as it starts to dry down, you do get the lavender, but it reminded me of something. It reminded me a little bit of Bulgari Man in Black, which has kind of a smoky leatherness in the mid as well. And this has a similar vibe to it. It's not like Man in Black, but it does, if you smell in that mid, if you can get past the lavender and you can kind of pick it out, there's a little bit of kind of a smoky leather in the mid, and that's coming from that Cypriol oil. It's a really pleasing fragrance that is not common in any of the other fragrances that I own. So in the base we get a nice sweetness with 3 notes of benzoin and tonka bean and patchouli. And those 3 things paired together give us a nice sweet base for everything to write on. But in addition to that, we get some ambroxan in the base, which gives us a salty, musky, kind of animalic, wet feeling that's kind of like wet stones. And so that's in the base. And the ambroxan paired up with the patchouli you're going to find in quite a few blue fragrances. It's found in Versace Dylan Blue, it's found in Christian Dior Sauvage, and it's found in Polo Deep Blue. And so the ambroxan patchouli pair is found in quite a few blue fragrances, and you also find it here, and it's really kind of a pleasing pairing. Those 2 notes together work very, very well. Acqua Essenziale Blu is presented in a gradient blue flagon that starts out dark at the bottom and gradually gets lighter towards the top. The atomizer works very well and provides a fine droplet distribution with very good control, allowing you to get small and large bursts. So the bottle has this polished metal band that starts midway through the base and then wraps around the bottom and continues around to the back side. And both on the front and the back of that polished metal band, you're going to find the Salvatore Ferragamo signature across there. In addition, on the bottom of the band, you're going to find the sticker that has the batch code. And you want to check your batch code against the batch code that's stamped on the bottom of the box. Let's talk about performance a little bit. This is a moderate performer. If you look it up on Fragrantica, you're going to find out that a lot of people are rating this sort of as being long-lasting and having mid to heavy sillage. I did not find that to be the case. My batch code indicates that mine was manufactured in 2019, so I can't blame that on this being an older batch that had been sitting on a shelf for a while and losing its strength. But I found out that during the first half hour of wear, you get pretty good projection, maybe an arm's length or more. But after that dry down and you start to get into the mid with the lavender and the Cypriol oil, it sits a little bit tighter and closer to the skin. And the mid, the heart notes and the base really only last for maybe 4 to 6 hours at best, and then you're going to need to reapply. Now you can extend the performance by putting on some unscented lotion onto your skin before you apply it, or applying it to the back of your head or your hair. You might be able to extend the performance and get better sillage out of it. But it's not a great performer, but it's also not a bad performer. I would consider it a mid-range performer with 4 to 6 hours of wear time, and then the good projection is in the first half hour. So final thoughts, this is really kind of a hidden gem of a blue fragrance. It kind of has a similar tone, a similar vibe to Versace Dylan Blue or Bleu de Chanel, and it's not trying to be a clone in any way. It's kind of its own thing, but it really is, it's a versatile fragrance in that it can be worn in pretty much any weather, spring, summer, fall. I'm probably not going to lean on it as a winter fragrance, but you could wear it in the winter. I think it pairs better with warm weather, and it really kind of is versatile in the sense that you could wear it with any kind of attire, business casual, casual clothes. I wore it this weekend with shorts. I've been wearing it for a few days at work with business kind of casual clothes, and I think it pairs fairly well with all of those things. I don't like to use the term cheap with fragrances. This is a really well blended fragrance from Alberto Morillas, and so I would not use the term cheap because it does not come off as a cheap fragrance. It really is well blended and it smells like a quality fragrance. It doesn't have great performance, but for the price, you can add an inexpensive fragrance to your arsenal that has a really nice, well-composed smell to it, and it's not going to set you back a lot. It's an inexpensive fragrance, but it's a well-blended quality fragrance, and I think it's worth adding to your arsenal if you want something that's a little bit different but is also a blue fragrance. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate you guys engaging in the comments and giving me some feedback. I appreciate the recommendation for reviewing Acqua Essenziale Blu, because like I said, it was not on my radar as far as being a purchase or something that I would have sought out. And I'm really pleasantly surprised. I'm glad this is now in my collection, and I think you guys will like it. But thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join us next weekend.